Good evening, everyone. Good night, tennis family. Additionally, for those of you who are watching MAGA from the Philippines, we're alive. History is being witnessed by us. And I'm serious when I say such things. You are aware that the media enjoys using terms like stunning or unprecedented. However, what is currently taking place at this first moment within the Dubai duty-free tennis stadium fails to meet all of the criteria for our logic, hierarchy, and customs anticipate from the WTA Tour. Take a look at the location. Simply give it a listen. If you would think that if you closed your eyes, you were at a final of the World Cup. You'd think you were for a Manny show at the Arona Coliseum Pacquiao's 2010 bout. However, you're not. You're at a typical WTA 1000 gathering in United Arab Emirates. You're at a tonight's tennis match. The Dubai duty-free tennis tournaments, in competition that Roger has hosted Venus Williams, Novak Djokovic, Federer, and Henin, Justine, has been essentially changed. The screenplay has been revised. The order of women's tennis has been put on hold. The headline is straightforward, but reality is intricate. The entire United Arab Emirates is in a condition of complete shock. Not due to a scandal, not because to a delay in the weather, however, because the most expensive ticket in town, the primary draw, the unique force that has resulted in a prolonged traffic bottleneck, not the way back to the Garhal Bridge top of the globe. It's not the reigning champion. It's not a Grand Slam icon, having won 20 titles. It is a Kaysan native who is 20 years old and left-handed. City. Alexandra Eala is here. And this evening, Alex does more than simply play tennis. She is organizing a revolution. We have been given box office shows that for the first time in the history of 10 years. The stadium arrived at capacity 2 hours prior to the initial ball. Was struck. Outside, we are witnessing scenes. We haven't seen the Aviation Club since the Fader era's height. Thousands of supporters wearing blue, red, yellow is begging for tickets. Chanting, establishing a mood that is honestly, it's terrifying for any opponent. On the opposite side of the net. Why is this surprising? Let's examine the facts. The playground of Dubai is the elite. Typically, it is the purview of the well-known superstars. However, this year, by 2026, the story has changed. Perhaps the primary draw is the World 40. Consider that ridiculousness. When the top players participate in a draw, the camera lenses on the planet are all aimed at Eala. The VIP boxes are requesting for Eala. The business backers are frantically placing their branding on the court when Eala is playing. This is the tonight. The Eala impact has reached crucial mass. We are observing a phenomena of geopolitical sports. You've to comprehend this area's demographics. In the United Arab Emirates, hundreds of thousands of Filipinos. They serve as the foundation of this city. They have been employed for decades, they are sustained, and they have constructed. However, they have a queen tonight. They are more than simply onlookers tonight. The crowd is from home. They've changed a Middle Eastern location that is impartial into a Philippine fortification. I set off the record to a tournament official only a few seconds ago, and he informed me, we never witnessed such a high level of noise. ANA produces power, while IGA creates focus. Alexandra Eala causes mayhem. In the midst of this turmoil, a young lady appears to be composed of ice. We're going to plunge deep this evening. We won't merely discuss the backhand or the forehand. We will examine the ways in which the 20-year-old Rafael Nadal girl Dubai duty-free was transformed by the academy, turning tennis championships into her own individual coronation. We'll examine the path that led us to this point, from the Australian Open heartbreak qualifiers from previous years to the gorgeous Miami semifinals the previous year. We will analyze the technological development of her service, which is the muttering of pundits concerning a new left-wing domination. And we'll pose the important query. Is this the new world or just a hype moment? Asian tennis order? Fasten your seatbelt. The stadium is trembling. The flags are flying. The United Arab Emirates is stunned. However, Alexa, she appears to be just where she belongs. This goes into great detail. Let's get into it. TTO genuinely comprehends the enormity of Dubai's shock tonight. Looking at the scoreboard is not enough. we must examine the timeline. We've to remove the layers of the previous 24 months to observe the tectonic plate movements of to make this possible, women's tennis changed. Moment. Let's return. Let's return to the 2025 season's beginning. At that, Alex was a promising talent at one point. Ability. That designation is harmful in tennis. The final resting place of promising the talent pool is large and crowded. Each and every player who succeeds, there are 10 whose ratings stagnate between 150 as well as 200, making a living in the ITF circuit, overlooked by the general public media. Eala hovered. She possessed the lineage. The Academy of Raf and Nadal graduate, the victor of the Junior US Open, however, the move to the Pro Tour is a vicious, cruel creature. The speed is quicker, the mental burden is greater, and the physical demands are unbearable. Next, arrived in Miami in March of 2025. If you're authoring Alexandra Eala's biography, Chapter 1 is the junior in 20 years. Grand Slams. However, Chapter 2, the chapter where the girl turns into a murderer, is Miami in 2025. She was a wild card when she came in. Opponents rolled their eyes. One more crazy, they stated it was a card for the marketable kid. What did she do too? She didn't simply triumph. The hierarchy was demolished by her. A Grand Slam winner being defeated in the early rounds are an anomaly. Returning the favor, that's a statement to back. Losing such as Instagram and Madison Keys, that's a declaration of war, sway tech. In Miami, we noticed something that we are seeing heightened in Dubai this evening. The lefty horror was shown to us. Let's have a conversation. Technical for a while. This is very important. To comprehend the reasons behind her dominance, the discussion in 2026 here. The majority of the WTA Tour is situated on a level savage. It is a first-person game. Hit the tennis ball. Whoever strikes difficult victories. Alexa doesn't engage in that game. She grew up on the crimson clay of Mallorca. She was shaped by the thoughts of Rafael Nadal. She performs with rotation. She manipulates angles. In Miami and Dubai are currently witnessing she drags with that lefty forehand hook. Rivals off the court. It's a right-handed people's geometric nightmare participants. Eala's striking that cross-court, the ball isn't merely moving on the forehand. It's leaping up at your distance. Shoulder. It compels the adversary to defend from outside the doubles alley. And as soon as the court is opened, Eala intervenes and smooths out the backhand down the line. It is a 1-2 punch that is quite challenging to on the medium-slow hard courts, counter of the Aviation Club of Dubai. However, let's turn to the shock factor. Why is the shock to the home court? Is it unusual? Typically, tennis is a solitary sport. Athletics. You go alone, perhaps accompanied by a physiotherapist and a coach. You perform in front of courteous crowds in New York, Paris, or London, York who applaud successful shots. However, in Dubai's demographic situation has produced a distinctive athletic event. The diaspora of Filipinos in the UAE is thought to number close to 700,000. These are living, breathing individuals. Pride in the country. We caught a glimpse of this in boxing and basketball leagues, not in tennis, but in matches. Tennis was viewed as exclusive. Alexa has made things more accessible. The sport for her people. This evening, as she entered center court, the decibel level reached 115. It's a volume of the departure of a jet engine. When was the last tennis player to rank number 1? 40 produced 115 dibbles during the initial round? Never. The surprise for the organizers are logisticians. They're recognizing Eala as more than a sideshow. She is the focal point. There are reports that the water supply in the concessions ran out in the second set since no one departed their seats. According to rumors, the TV ratings in Manila, where they are at the moment in the dead of night, are surpassing the NBA championship game. However, there is a more sinister essential aspect of this analysis that we need to acknowledge. The strain. Consider yourself as 20 years old. Consider stepping out onto a court where 5,000 people aren't just I need you but I'm rooting for you to win. Should triumph in order to affirm their national identity. That is the primary load. Allure. We witnessed Naomi go through this. Osaka. We witnessed Emma go through this. Ridukanu. The burden of expectations can crush a partially developed spine. But Eala appears to be different. Additionally, put out this theory. She spent time with Rafin. Not only did Nadal Academy teach her in front of you, she learned how to suffer from it. The best thing about Nadal was never his top spin. It was his capacity to take pleasure in the struggle. Tonight, watch Eala's face. When in the opening set, she went down to break. The audience let out a gasp. The UAE was taken aback. Has the dream ended? What did she do too? She worked on her strings. She cleaned the sweat. She ignored her box in the fear. She glanced at the adversary and grinning, a grim, fearsome, competitive grin. She retaliated right away. This mental toughness is what distinguishes the primary draw of the flash in the pan. Let's examine the dynamics of the matchup. In Dubai in 2026, the legal system is playing a little quicker this year. This ought to prioritize the large servers, the Ryakinas, the Sabalenkas. However, Eala is neutralizing them. How she came back place. Analysts 2 years ago I was among those who opposed her service. We referred to it as a baby serve. We stated it was vulnerable to attack. That's what we were. However, the 2026 Eala serve is today not recognizable. She has added roughly 10 km/h to the initial serve. However, most significantly, she is an expert at the slicing in the ad court, broad. In the crucial stages in the game tonight, she went 3 times in a row to that slice. It pulls a returner, but it's not an ace. Eala's next court is so far away. The field is open for the shot. It is tactical genius. Let's now expand the lens. The shock of geopolitics. The duty-free tennis championships in Dubai is a huge worldwide brand. They offer enormous costs for appearance to rank in the top 10 participants. It is a well-known fact in the world of tennis. You pay the first seed to appear and offer tickets. However, the return on investment for this year has flipped. The athletes who receive the to appear, large money is playing to half. Stadiums that are deserted in the afternoon. Eala, who probably held a small portion of that, the one selling out is the appearance charge. The evening session. This is shocking. Wave through the tennis game. It informs Doha tournament directors. In Beijing, Tokyo, and even India, the star power is changing Wales. It is not only about point rankings anymore. It is about making connections. Eala makes a connection. She uses Tagalog during the post-game interviews. She is aware of the OFWs Filipinos employed abroad. She brings a story about us versus the world that strikes a profound chord in a place like Dubai. It is constructed using the backs of foreign workers. Thus, when you observe the headline that startled the entire UAE, comprehend this. It's hardly shocking that she's triumphing. It is shocking to learn that she has taken the hostage of the tournament. She has taken over the occasion. The Dubai is no longer there. Duty-free tennis tournaments. For this, the Eala Invitational is this week. I wish to draw attention to a particular issue in tonight's second set that is flawless captures this. 3-3 was the situation. A crucial match. They had run Eala. 4 points for being ragged. Her adversary hit a ball that snagged on the net cord and spilled over. A fortunate impossibility shot to get back. The majority of players would shrug. A racket would be thrown by some. Eala ran. She didn't simply flee. She burst out of the baseline. She arrived at a few inches before the second bounce, the ball, and hit a lob over her rivals, bringing it down on the baseline. There was no cheering in the stadium. They detonated. It was a thunderous sound that rocked the cameras. And at that very moment, it was all in the opponent's face. She wasn't no longer participating in a tennis match. She was fighting in a coliseum against a gladiator where the gladiator had the lions by his side. The Eala effect is that it's technical. Greatness driven by emotional conflict. Additionally, as we observe the sketch progressing as time goes by, the shock is giving way to fear. The remainder of the field. Those that wish to play her? Who would like to enter this atmosphere? If she prevails in this competition, and I'm going to state for the record that it will be the largest non-existence if she can significant triumph for Asian tennis since Lena. It will indicate the coming of a new superpower. However, even if she fails, even if the tank runs empty tomorrow, the point has been made, the harm has been confirmed that the shock was recorded. Now that she's in the desert, Alexa has brought with her the storm. As we conclude this preliminary report from a let's have a look at vibrating electric Dubai. Take a step back and gaze at the skyline. It was more than simply a game tonight. It was a fire signal. For many years, tennis has been looking for the upcoming generation of worldwide involvement. We have examined Europe. We have turned to the United States. However, we might have been looking in the incorrect way. What is taking place? This is a case study for the UAE. The sport's future. The surprise that the headlines are yelling about it. A wake-up call, actually. It's a reminder that tennis is a worldwide sport. While there are areas of passion for the world that has not received enough attention for too much time. The age of Alexandra Eala is 20. In the world, she is ranked number 40. But she's the biggest athlete tonight on Earth. To the millions of individuals, she is carrying a large flag while people watch her. The Philippines is anticipating a unique tennis hero. Manny was present. The ring. Pang was bowling for them. They had a batter in the pool. However, tennis was the last frontier. By taking the lead Dubai's main draw, Ella has crossed that frontier. The flag has been planted by her. To the young girls in Quezon who are observing Davao, Cebu, the city, and the children of foreigners living in Dubai who are holding their enormous tennis balls in anticipation of a signature. This is also your time. As you can see, it is feasible to stood in the middle of the court, surrounded by giants and give them a direct glance. The duty-free tennis championships in Dubai will go on. There will be additional matches. A winner's crown will be shown on Saturday. However, regardless of whose name is engraved on the coffee pot made of silver. Trophy 2020 SIXS tale will be the tale of the girl who stunned the United Arab Emirates. This voyage will be followed by us at every step of the journey. We'll be doing an analysis. Each game, each point, and each wave of that yelling mob. Due to this we watch sports for this reason, not for the anticipated, but for the surprise. Regarding the when the writing burns out, afresh from the ashes, the hero emerges. Retain your Dubai is in focus. Pay attention to Alexa.